Nobody cared. As soon as I start rapping about God and freedom, and I just start getting calls from family and friends and fans saying, "Are you okay? This is a little weird. This is a little different. This is a little strange."
Holding in the way, that's what I heard them say. They used to heed the words he said, but that was yesterday. Gold will turn to gray and youth will fade away. They'll never care about you, call you holding in the way.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Old Men in Chairs. Going to do something a little different today. I've been a big fan of the rapper Hi-Rez. I've reacted to a couple of his most recent songs, 2 + 2 = 5 and What is Truth. But lately, in the last month or so, he started what he calls weekly Rez'Rants, in which he's not playing music, he's not rapping, he's just ranting about certain issues. And I thought this one that came out yesterday was particularly interesting. He's talking about why he ruined his music career. He didn't totally ruin his music career, but as he will explain, he's taken a big hit financially to do the type of music he's doing now, which, calls out the YouTube censors and gets him demonetized. I admire him for doing that when so many others would not follow him that example. By the way, this will be an excerpt of his talks, and I will put the link for the full talk in the description.
5 times what I make now when I was just doing gimmicky rap videos on YouTube with YouTube ad revenue and none of that not suitable for advertiser nonsense or demonetized nonsense. Just fun, happy-go-lucky stuff that all advertisers can advertise on. Obviously, money was no problem when I was doing that. Haters love to say I fell off, but they don't realize or have the emotional intelligence, emotional capacity to understand that this is all by design. I've acknowledged how my career was going to pan out and play out well before I was controversial. To the average music consumer, if you're not Drake or Eminem or Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber, then you're just a bum. You're not even successful at that point.
Interesting point. Do tend to focus on the really big superstars and not pay as much attention to those who are independent, like Rez and others that are not affiliated with the big record hit-making machines. He mentions his earlier videos. He has 3 million subscribers on YouTube. He started at age 15, and a lot of his earlier videos are very funny. You should go back and look at some of them, but they weren't political. He does routines where he pretends to be an Uber driver and then starts rapping and gets the reactions of the people to how good a rapper he is. He also goes into McDonald's for a job application and starts rapping as part of his application. Very funny stuff. But what he just said, his revenue dropped. He's making 1/5 as much with his message songs and videos than he was back in the happy-go-lucky days because of restrictions on monetizing his account. So he took a big hit financially, but he doesn't care. As an artist, he doesn't want to be censored into what he can say. Hats off to Hi-Rez.
Then you're just a bum. You're not even successful at that point. But it's weird because we don't equate fame with success in almost any other industry. Imagine somebody saying, "Yo, I'm not going to go to that surgeon, bro. His YouTube vlogs don't even get any views." Like, no one says that. I realized young that I wasn't going to compromise my morals or my artistic ability or my creativity or my principles for a paycheck. My friends, my family, even sometimes my fans say, "Rez, don't rock the boat. Don't be too controversial. You can be a lot richer and a lot more famous and a lot more successful." But why would I want to be successful if it meant losing my soul?
Good question. I'm sure all of the rappers who take on controversial subjects have some fans who don't want to follow along. Tom MacDonald has talked about this with fans trying to tell him, don't say anything controversial. He has a song about that. And I suppose, if the money's good, it's easy to just fall in line and say, okay, I'm not going to rock the boat. But a true artist like Rez or Tom, they are driven by a vision of truth and what they want to say. And nothing can stand in their way.
But why would I want to be successful if it meant losing my soul? Especially selling my soul for a currency that's backed by nothing. every few years say, Rez, you changed. Rez, you changed. Well, duh. I'm almost 30 now. I was 15, 16 years old when I started making music professionally. Were you the same person as you were at 15, at 30, or 30, at 45, or 45? Come on. But the more I think of it, I haven't really changed that much. Yeah, of course, I got lost along the way like any kid in enticing, intimidating, tempting situations. But I always knew my worth and I never sold myself short for $1 or for fame or success. I know so many fake rappers that would do anything for fame and money and success. I could name names, but I won't do that.
That's too bad. But I think we can probably guess who some of them are. We know who the genuine artists are. The Upchurches, the Tom MacDonalds, the Adam Calhouns, the Chris Webbys of the world, and of course Hi-Rez. They're willing to take those risks of offending people, possibly losing support, maybe even losing their whole platform on YouTube. They're driven by a firm principle of telling the truth. We need people like this.
My fast food raps, my Uber videos, I'm grateful for those videos. I'm blessed to have experienced that success and have garnered a large following because of those videos. I'm grateful for those videos. I don't regret them and I would never take them back. But I'm just letting you know from my perspective how much of a toll these gimmicky videos takes on a true creative person. Relationships and morals and principles and values. You really have to sacrifice art and emotions. I was reached out to by many major corporations. I worked with some. I turned down others. Money and opportunities were never a problem. But I decided I wasn't doing enough for the world. Firefighters, policemen, truly free-thinking teachers and doctors. These are the backbone of society. Look, I love rapping. I'm grateful that God gave me this gift to rap. But are you going to sue me for wanting a little bit more than just being a rapper? I want to change people's lives. I want to change the way people think and inspire people and motivate people and wake people up to this level of corruption that's been going on for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And that's why I ruined my career. I never wanted to force people to conclusion. I wanted to bring the horse to water. If you want to drink, do what you got to do. I've always been a free thinker. I've always had a healthy level of skepticism. I've always had a healthy level of not really trusting authority figures, but still respecting them. I didn't change. The world around me and the political spectrum and the culture, spiritually, economically, physically, financially, everything changed around the free thinkers and the dreamers. Now you're looked at as radical and extreme.
Reminds me of the Ronald Reagan quote. Ronnie was a Democrat back in the day. He was a union head for the Screen Actors Guild. And people said, Ronnie, how did you become so conservative? And eventually he left the Democrats and became a Republican. And he said, I didn't change at all. It's the Democrats that changed and went to the left. And that's an experience that a lot more people have had in recent years as the left party gets more and more extreme. People that once considered themselves moderate are now, as he just said, actually looked at as extreme on the right. You don't have to be as conservative as me to be thought of as very, very dangerous.
The free thinkers and the dreamers. Now you're looked at as radical and extreme. I mean, hell, they labeled parents going to school board meetings as domestic terror threats. That should tell you everything you need to know. I'm amongst good company if I'm being labeled domestic terrorist, along with the moms and dads that actually care about the curriculum that their kids are being taught.
Very good point, and of course, very true, even though they tried to deny it. Oh, no, we didn't really think that parents were a terrorist threat. Well, they sure acted like it, and there's a lot of paperwork backing up that they really were trying to do that. It got exposed, and they had to back down, but that's what they were trying to do, and who knows, they probably haven't really given up on that.
Terrorists, along with the moms and dads that actually care about the curriculum that their kids are being taught. I actually went back a few years ago. I went back to my old tweets and I deleted a bunch of old tweets because I was so scared of being canceled. I was so scared that the woke mob would come after me next. I saw this person get canceled and that person, and they seemed like good people, some of them. And I was like, wait, I'm a good person. I don't want to get canceled. And then I realized, wow, I'm a good person. There's no such thing as cancellation when you're a good person.
Unfortunately, that's not true. A lot of good people get canceled for really stupid reasons. And isn't that an amazing confession that he was actually so afraid of being canceled? A guy like this, who normally is unafraid. But he got the bug, and he was afraid, and he went back and deleted a lot of his old tweets so he wouldn't get canceled. That's the power of the herd mentality and the fear that's been used very effectively against us.
I'm a good person. There's no such thing as cancellation when you're a good person. When you're a genuine person with a good heart, you can't be canceled. PC culture had me backed into a corner. And for an artist and creator, that is not fun to be backed into a corner or boxed in. You can say this, you can't say that, you should say this, you shouldn't say that, you can get away with this, you can't get away with that. Look, I might sound like a broken record when I say this, but when I was younger and I was a little bit more out there and questioning life and questioning what I do and what I don't do, rapping about drugs, sex, and rock and roll, nobody cared. I was signed to a label, they didn't care, they encouraged it, fans encouraged it, friends encouraged it, family encouraged it, nobody cared. As soon as I start rapping about God and freedom, and I just start getting calls from family and friends and fans saying, are you okay? This is a little weird. This is a little different. This is a little strange.
Exactly. My most recent video, I did Natasha Owen's song, Prayer for America, and talked about the importance of getting God back into our lives. I didn't say which God. I didn't say a Christian God, a voodoo God, or whatever God you want to follow. And I had very, very poor views of that particular. But what's even funnier is if you look at the YouTube's analytics, people dropped that song like a hot potato. The few people that even dared to click on it, as soon as they knew what it was about, the viewership went down to less than 5%. I don't think of 80 people. It looks like maybe only a couple people even got to the end of the song. So, yeah, there's something in American life that really doesn't like the mention of God. It makes them very uncomfortable, and I'm not sure exactly why. I'm not a religious guy. I'm not pushing any particular brand of religion on anybody. But I'm just saying, hey, look at what's going on in the world, and maybe we should pray to some sort of deity, some sort of superior force to intervene and help us, because we're in a lot of trouble.
Are you okay? This is a little weird. This is a little different. This is a little strange. Well, I love being called strange. Just goes to show you how backward our culture is when they'll check on you and call you crazy for rapping about God, but they're going to ignore you and treat you like it's normal when you're rapping about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So the more people who tell me I'm unsuccessful, or I fell off, or I'm crazy, or I'm radical, or I'm an extremist, the better I know I'm doing in God's eyes.
That's a very powerful statement. A true independent thinker. As soon as you're being told, well, you shouldn't be thinking like that, you shouldn't be talking like that, it's almost an indication that you're over the target. You know, the person that's getting the flack is the one that's right over the target. A guy like Rez, when they get that flack, it just rededicates them, come twice as hard on their message. At the end of the video here, he mentions that he's got an album coming out in June, and that he's going to be putting out some more videos even before that album is released. So we certainly look forward to reacting to those. What I've taken to doing is doing my full honest reaction on Rumble, and then editing out the few things that I might cause trouble on YouTube and putting an edited version on YouTube. That's worked out pretty well, even though in general the Rumble audience is much smaller. On a couple of his videos, I've actually gotten more views on Rumble. So take a look over there if you want to see the true reaction.
Holding in the way, that's what I heard them say. They used to heed the words he said, but that was yesterday. Gold will turn to gray, and youth will fade away. They'll never care about you, call you old